Good evening, everybody, and welcome to SAFRL Season 5, Round 4. And tonight we're at Zandvoort with Tier 2 on a Wednesday night. My name is not Fernando, and I'll be commentating for you this session. We got one car out on circuit, two cars out on circuit, so some action early on. As far as I know, all weather reports are clear, so no rain. But we did have a race here on Monday night for Tier 1, and we saw several examples of safety cars, and if I'm not mistaken, 2 virtual safety cars. It's quite a narrow racetrack, and depending on where you go off, the barriers can be quite close, so not the most forgiving circuit. Some cars going really quick on the outlap, others crawling on their outlap. Traffic can also be an issue at this circuit, so you want to get out there, you want to get the first lap time on the board, make sure you're safe. 18 drivers here in qualifying, so if you do start at the back, you've got a very big job ahead of you. Welcome to all the viewers. Welcome to Tian. Welcome to Andre. Tian already giving some early predictions for pole position, saying between a 108.6 or a 108.8. The just 0.2 of a second there, so not giving himself a lot of room for error. Also, Tian just reminding me that pole position on Monday night by Tier 1 was a 108.4. 5-place grid penalty coming up for a few drivers. I don't know. Collision out on track, and both cars getting 5-place grid place penalties. I think I didn't see that message. It went by a little quickly. Bunch of cars on outlaps, bunch of cars on fast laps. Last week I had a co-commentator. This week I'm on my own again. That was my co-commentator. It's going over the line now, and he sets a 1:12.5. That's the first lap time of the evening. Then we're going to get Tylee Boy. He goes over the line, and I think he invalidated because the lap time didn't come up for him. Big T 1:09.0, fastest lap of the night so far. We're going to see them dip into the 1:08s, I'm almost certain, but how far into the 1:08s? We ride now with the Williams of Moller. No lap time from him as of yet, but if you did notice, he went purple in the second sector. So maybe a notable lap time coming up here. He goes over the line, and it's good enough for P3, 1:09.6. We have a Mercedes going slowly. We have Pantry Star yet to set a lap time. Also one of your quicker drivers in the field. It's Ferree. He has just emerged from the pits on an outlap. So the Alfa Romeo is getting ready to make their mark on qualifying. Remember, just the one quali session, so no Q2, Q3, no eliminations. This will be your order. Nuclear Monkey now, collision, 5 grid place penalty. Not sure if that's the same one or if that's coming up again. Quite an odd one to get 3 times in a quali session. To ride with It's Free. No lap time from him as of yet, but he's one of the quicker drivers in the field. We expect him to be up there in the top 3. No pressure, It's Free. Here we go into this chicane, which was added from the previous Zandvoort layout. You used to pretty much head on into this section at full speed. So that chicane was put in just to slow things down. It's Free, close to the pit wall, goes over the line, P3, 1094. Fastest lap there in this first stint so far. It's still Big T with a 1090, and interesting, he has retired from the session. So there we go. Ferrari swerving in and out of the pit lane took me out. That is the explanation from Big T. At least we are in qualifying, and you are currently at the top of the field. So hopefully you'll still get a good starting position, and obviously the race is still to come. We ride now with Ruben, looking for his first lap time. He's actually on an out lap. Still waiting for lap times from Ruben, Cyber and Gotzi. Those 3 drivers have no lap times, but all 3 are out on out laps. I think their first runs may have been invalidated. Times coming in thick and fast. Not so long ago the 2 Williams were together on the second row. Now Moller barely holding on to the second row, and his teammate down into P6. He's just actually gone over the line and improved. It's up into P6, and Moller improves as well. 1092, getting closer to the 108s, but nobody's been able to do that quite yet. We ride now with Gotzi. This is an out lap, so he starts his fast lap now. Let's see who's out there on a fast lap. We'll ride with the Alpine. This is Cyber. He's at the bottom of the field at the moment, as he has not set a lap time. Cyber goes over the line, and it's good enough for P5, 1094. So many 109s, but nobody so far getting into those 108s. Ruben goes over the line, finally gets a lap time, goes P13, 109, 108.10. Did I read that right? 110.8, sorry. Then we have Gotzi. He's the last man out on circuit that has not set a lap time. He's going to change that shortly, hopefully, if he hasn't invalidated this lap, of course. Good evening to Death Queen. Welcome to Tier 2 on a Wednesday. Gotzi goes P14. Now everyone in the field has officially set a lap time. So far, Big T still provisional pole, 109 flat. Next best is Moller, 1092. Loki P3, sits in the pits. It's Faris on an outlap, looking to improve on that initial run. There was a 109.4. As far as some of the predictions in the comment section say, it's Faris should still have another 6 to 8 tenths in that car. So let's see what he can pull out. Remember, the Tier 1 pole position time on Monday was a 1:08.4. I think these guys have still got more to come. Here's it's Faris just finishing off on that outlap. He's going to activate DRS and give it everything now into turn 1. It's a really technical sector 1. It's almost like a roller coaster, up and down, left and right, and then you get this banked corner. And it's so technical, got to get the car in the right places. Otherwise, sector 1 is done for, and so is your lap. Still riding now with it's Faris. He's in sector 2. Who else is out on track? Pantry Star, that is the other Alfa Romeo, also out on track. He's currently riding behind his teammates, so it's Faris. We'll go over the line first between those two Alphas. Let's keep an eye on those lap times. Here we go, it's Faris, goes P2, 109.0 yet again, 800ths of a second, cover the front row. Is anyone going to get into the 108s? Just over 5.5 minutes remaining. Still very much possible. Just got to scrape into the 108s, even if it's just a 10th. 108.9. Could be just a slight breaking point. And there we have a Red Bull, not looking the way Adrian Newey intended it to look. Missing the entire front wing. And that's not going to be a very fun car to drive around this Zandvoort circuit. I hope for him that he can get to the pits as quickly as possible. It's Faris back on his way into the pits. A relatively short track, so you can get around here pretty quickly. Can easily do 3 runs in qualifying. This is Kratos. P11 on that first run. Out now for a second run in sector 2, looking to improve. Who else is out on track? Very quiet track right now. A whole bunch of cars in the pits just deciding what to do on their final run. Obviously not much you can do in terms of setup. We are under Parc Fermé. Some small tweaks you can maybe make to the front wing. Kratos just going slowly there. I'm not sure if he just gave up on that lap. Here we go. None of the top 8 are out on circuit. The fastest driver so far that is out on circuit, that'll be the Red Bull Maggot, P9. He's on an outlap. That entire group in the top 8 all sitting in the pits, all leaving it right for the end. So I think we may still have a dramatic end to this qualifying session. You have to tell me if I'm pronouncing how do I pronounce the name now? Tentario, I don't know. Tentario, if it was English, or Tentario, I don't know. Let me know. Am I saying it right? Are they both wrong? Let me know. And welcome to the stream. We've got some of those drivers that I mentioned, the top 8 were all sitting in the pits. Well, not anymore. 6 of the top 8 are out on track doing their route laps. The other 2, Loki P4, Cyber P5, they remain in the pits, leaving it extremely late. We have just actually gone up to 19 cars, so we should have 19 cars at the start of the race. See, Akmagozi is in the lobby, but he's retired. See, at the end of qualifying now, a minute and a half remains. There's a driver we haven't spoken about too much tonight, the second Williams, John. Currently P7, out on track, looking to improve, looking to get something better. 109.7. Oh, how he'd like to trim 7 tenths off of that, 8 tenths off of that, and go into the top of the field. Oh, so close with Mr. M, just 0.08 of a second between the two, so he doesn't have to find much to get an improvement. And we'll follow his progress as he goes through the chicane, but as he comes out of that chicane, he's going to find a bit of traffic. Hopefully it doesn't put him off. Shouldn't put him off, it's far enough ahead. May just help him a little bit with a slipstream. It's Ferry goes over the line, fastest lap of the night, 108.8, spot on with the predictions. And John does improve by 0.2 of a second, goes up to P6 with a 109.5. It's Ferry, he's taken provisional pole, a 108.8. Who else has got something left in the tank? We ride with Moller. His teammate just improved up into P6 and then got demoted to P7. What can Moller do? Currently P3. And it's a 109.1, stays P3. Mr. M, 109.2. I believe the checkered flag has fallen, so if you're out on track on a fast lap, this is your final opportunity. If you're on a slow down lap, make sure you get out of the way. This is the Alfa Romeo currently in P6, Pantry Star. His teammate up in provisional pole. Pantry Star would love to make it an all Alfa Romeo front row. And if he can find, well, if he can find himself 0.4 of a second, 3.5 of a second, he can make that a reality. But I think that traffic may have just put him off. We saw him just divert across the track. Hopefully it didn't cost him too much time. Seeing more and more viewers joining the stream. Welcome if you've just joined us. This is now the end of qualifying. You're watching Pantry Star go over the line, and he does not go over the line. He pulls into the pits. No improvement on the cards. And I think that is your qualifying session. I don't see anyone else out on track. I'm not going to read that list because it's been wrong too many times, so I'm going to wait for the official standings. But as for now, I think that will be your lineup going into the race. And just for the record, your top 10 are covered by a second. There we go, there are your official results. It's Farid taking provisional pole, the only man into the 108s. It was a 108.8 at the end of the day. Then Big T in second, Muller third. Cyber got himself up into fourth at the end there. Then Loki fifth, Mr. M sixth, Pantry Star seventh. We have John in eighth, Zented Skull ninth, Kratos 10th, Maggot P11, Top Gun P12. Rockwah, I think, P13, Ruben P14, Tylee Boy P15, Gotzi 16, Akmagozi, I'm going to confuse those two names, P17, Nuclear Monkey P18, and making up your field, Bart Bliksem P19. Remember that this is a sprint evening. Almost said weekend, but there's no weekend about it. So it's a sprint evening. We're going to have a sprint race. I think it's 12 laps. I'm not 100% sure. Can't remember. We're having a sprint race, and obviously no mandatory pit stop. You choose the tire that you are probably going to go to the end on, so I don't think we'll see any softs. And then that will be featured by a longer feature race, which this race will determine the grid for. Some support for, is that for Apmagozi or for Gozi? You see the names, they're a little too similar. There we go, red lights. There'll be 5, then they'll go off, then we'll be on our way. And there we go. We are underway. Let's see, turn 1. Big T stays in front in turn 1, does he? No, he doesn't. There we go. It looked like Big T got in front. He was on the inside, but it's free. Held it around the outside and holds on to the lead. Big T second. Cyber up into P3. Then we have Loki P4. Lots of movement here on the first lap in Sector 1. Lots of positions being made up, and all of that's got to stop right now. Don't overtake. You're under virtual safety car. I don't see anybody stationary on track, and I don't see anybody DNF, so we still have 19 cars. Hopefully this virtual safety car will come to an end and we can get going. There we go. Green flag. It's Free leads the way from Big T. Cyber P3. That's your podium for the time being. Remember, this is a sprint race, just 12 laps. Tire you start on is probably the tire you're going to finish on. Let's bring up that tire situation. It's Free, your leader. There we go, it's Free. As I said, he was your leader, but not anymore. Big T takes the lead. He went up the inside there on turn 1. And this is before DRS is even a thing. I think we'll see many more overtakes into turn 1. That's the only corner name I know. It's the Tarzan corner. It's Free following Big T closely, keeping the pressure on him. Just 0.3 of a second between the two cars, absolutely nothing. Then Cyber just trying to hold on to your two leaders. He's fallen 0.8 adrift now. Loki putting the pressure on. So he'll look in his mirrors and they will be papaya. First of the two, Williams in P5. That's Muller, then Pantry Star. He's in P6. Mr. Rem. Second McLaren, P7. Dented Skull, my ex-co-commentator, he's in P8. Then we have John in P9 and Top Gun P10. As you can see on your screens, a pretty even split between the tyres. I said we wouldn't see softs, but we're seeing a lot of softs. But I think I should have said we wouldn't see hards. There we go, that makes a little bit more sense. but it's an even split between softs and mediums. I think the guys that do go on softs, they may just feel it in the last 2 or 3 laps, and that may bring the drivers that chose mediums more into the equation in the final stages of the race. But we'll have to see how this all plays out. If a safety car comes out, it ultimately eliminates any advantage you gain from being on the faster compound. So anyone on softs will be praying for no safety car. Big T leads the way, 0.8 of a second. He's building a bit of a gap now to his Ferrari. Cyber P3, and he set the fastest sector 3 of the race. So Cyber is getting a move on. Not gonna let those top 2 get too far away from him. Now Loki is the one that's trying to hold on. He was all over the back of Cyber not too long ago. Now Cyber putting in some lap times and coming back into this battle for P2/P1. Everyone so close together. Further back, the second Alfa Romeo putting the pressure on Moller. Top performing Williams driver on the night. 2 drivers, P5, P6. Coming close together, just 0.6 of a second. Then further back, you have the other Williams in a battle with an AlphaTauri. And he's actually sandwiched between an AlphaTauri and a Haas. So while he's trying to attack, he's looking in his mirrors. And this is just action-packed around Zandvoort. Obviously, it being a sprint race, the guys can really just throw everything at the tyres. It's a lot more risks being taken, but you can't take too many risks. Remember, if you DNF from this race, you're going to start at the back of the field for the feature race. Now we have Top Gun chasing John. Thought about something there. Coming out of the hairpin, decided against it. Back at the front, let's keep an eye on what's happening at the front. Big T still leads the way for Haas. Remember, he's on a set of softs, as is the man now in second. Cyber has passed its Ferrari for second place. Remember, first and second place, they are on soft tyres. It's Ferrari P3. He's on a set of mediums. I think those mediums will come into play in the final laps of this race. Moller for now, P5. He's still leading from Pantry Star. We've got a bit of a DRS train forming. Poor Moller there, the only man not getting DRS. He was just 0.03 of a second outside of DRS, and that's really hindered his progress because Pantry Star has really come up on the back of that gearbox. And Moller wasn't able to make any progress on the car ahead of him. That's Loki. So Loki now building up a bit of a gap. He's broken that DRS train behind him. And he'll want to keep that forward momentum. Doesn't want to fall back into that DRS train. It's Ferrari P3. He got past for first place, then for second place, and now he's taking that back. We have Big T. Let's have a look what happened there. Wouldn't it be great if we had replays? Oh, it would be great if we had replays. Not quite sure what happened there, but Big T now rejoins behind his teammate, and that has promoted Cyber to the lead of the race. He's being chased down by the Alfa Romeo of its Ferrari. Loki also promoted. He's now up into P3. Moller P4. Pantry P5. We've spent most of our time with the top 10, so let's just have a look at what's happening outside the top 10. Maggot in the first Red Bull P11. On a set of mediums, then we got Kratos, Aston Martin P12, also mediums, Gotzi, mediums, P13, Atmagozi in 14th, Rakwa. I need to figure out some of these names. P15, then Nuclear Monkey 16, Ruben 17, Tyler Boy 18, and Bard Blixem making up the field. We still have all 19 drivers that started this race. Not only have we seen good racing, we've seen clean racing. And it's Faree, utilizes DRS. He's able to get in front of Cyber before turn 1. And now he'll be wanting to try and get up the road before Cyber can use DRS right back at him. Moller, 2 seconds off the podium now. Still having to defend from Pantry Star. Mr. Rem in the McLaren. Also chasing Pantry Star, so battles all over the circuit. Difficult to keep track of everything. Top Gun just a tenth of a second behind the AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri versus Haas. Top Gun versus Dented Skull. And this is a fight for P8. Looking for more battles on track. Further down the field, we have Nuclear Monkey chasing Ruben. Nuclear Monkey looking to make up some positions. It's Faree still leads, but let's have a look now as he was able to hold his position. Let's see if he can hold his position in the next DRS zone. Seems like Cyber is just struggling to hold on. Remember, Cyber does have a set of softs, and now as we enter the latter stages of the race with just 3 laps remaining, the drivers on softs could be starting to feel the effects of that soft compound. Loki still in P3. He's lost contact with the top 2, but still comfortably in P3. Pantry Star further, I was going to say 2 seconds, but suddenly that's 1.5 seconds. I think Loki made a bit of a mistake somewhere. But before Pantry Star can catch the McLaren ahead of him, he needs to make sure the McLaren behind him doesn't get past. Sure, McLaren would love to make it P3, P4. Sure, Pantry Star would like to make it 1-3 for Alfa Romeo. Still lots to play for, lap 10 of 12. Welcome to Pampun as well in the comment section. Kota this weekend. Which one are you talking about? I don't know which Kota you're speaking about, because I mean, we're going to do it on, I think we're going to do it on Friday. The actual race is happening on Sunday, and then I think there's another league race on Sunday night that's doing Kota. So Kota all over the place. Are you talking about the real race? In fact, there's so much Kota on Monday in Tier 1. I introduced the race as Kota, and when they left the pits, I was like, well, this is not Kota. Cyber leads the way. It's Faree now is in P2. Let's have a look if that Alfa Romeo has any sort of damage. If it does, it's not any visible damage. But he is 1.3 seconds, 1.1 seconds adrift from Cyber. If he's going to have any chance at this, he needs to get that gap to below a second so he can utilize DRS. And how much ERS does he have left? That's another problem. And all I'll say is not much. Cyber still has a little bit to play with. I think Cyber's in a very strong position here, and it's free. He's not in DRS as things stand, so needs to close that gap. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult to change things on lap 12 of 12. Mr. Rem still under pressure from a Williams. Moller P6. His teammate now P7. So far, a good night for the 2 Alfa Romeos, 2 McLarens, 2 Williams. Also have 2 Haas, all in the points. There we go, there we go. Moller gets past Dented Skull. That was on the main straight with the aid of DRS. And Moller is up into P6. Remember, just the top 8 are going to score points in the sprint race. And those points are obviously numbered from 8 for first place down to 1 for 8th place. Just an opportunity to get some extra points. This is now the final lap, and it's Ferrari has gotten really close to the leaders. Gap's 3/10, but I think he's going to run out of tarmac. There we go, he does open DRS. It's going to be awfully close. Awfully close. 2/10 of a second. 2/10 of a second between first and second place. Loki goes third. Patrick Star goes third. I wonder if there was a penalty there. Yeah, it must have been a penalty. There we go. What a race. We'll just wait for the official results. Gozzi goes over the line. P12 at Magosi coming around the final corner for Ferrari. P13 for him. Then we await a Red Bull. Ragwa P14. Ruben P15. Everyone coming over the line now. Maggot P16. Nuclear Monkey. Then a little further back with Tiny Boy. He's now maneuvering around the final corner and goes over the line in P18. Remember, that order will also set your grid for the feature race. So there are your official sprint results. Cyber winning the race, taking the 8 points. Then we've got Itzfari in P2, Pantry P3, Mr. Rem P4, Moller P5, Loki landed up in P6 after all of that, Dented Skull P7, and Top Gun making up your points positions in P8. Just outside of the points, and I've got to get this through this quickly. Big T P9, John P10, Kratos P11, Gotzi 12, Apmagozi 13, Rakwa 14, Ruben 15, Maggot 16, Nuclear Monkey 17, Tidy Boy 18, and Bard Blixen P19. Just in time. There we go. We're straight on into the feature race. This time round, obviously back to the traditional racing. You will have a mandatory stop. You need to use 2 compounds. Guys will be going through their final strategy adjustments now. What tyre to start on? What fuel level to start on? Do you anticipate safety cars? Interestingly enough, we didn't get any in that sprint race. pretty extended break here, so everybody pretty deep in on that strategy. It's going to be interesting to see who starts on what tyre. It looks like the softs are starting to fall off at the end of that sprint race. There we go, the red lights are on, 5 of them. We wait for them to go off. And there we go, we're underway yet again tonight for the second time, this time for the feature race. This is the big one, this is where you get 25 points. Mr. M up into P2 early on, Pantry P3, lots of movement at the front. Moller holds on to P4, Cyber, he's gone into P5, Loki P6. Someone falling down the order, that's Top Gun, facing the wrong way. Will we get a safety car? Or does he gets going again? Ooh, now he goes straight into the next Armco barrier and takes the rest of the front wing off. And that's caused a virtual safety car. So the horse at the back of the field, Top Gun, he's triggered the virtual safety car, and surely he'll have to come into the pits at the end of this lap because that front wing, I'd say it's in a bad state, but it's non-existent. Race for now neutralized, gaps neutralized, supposedly. But I have seen many examples of where you can gain and lose time under virtual safety car if you're caught napping. Very important to stay on the edge of that delta, but don't go over it. And there we go, drive-through penalty, speeding under virtual safety car. That is for Gotzi. So I believe that will be a 5-second penalty if I'm not mistaken. It's a drive-through penalty. So that one's really annoying. At least a 5-second penalty. You just got to wait the 5 seconds before the mechanics can touch the car. But the drive-through, if you need a pit stop, you have to do the pit stop and the drive-through. It's Free leads the way as we get a restart now. He leads from Mr. M, 7/10 of a second. Then a further 7/10 of a second back. You'll find the second Alfa Romeo. That's Pantry Star, and we're under safety car. So I'm not sure what happened there. Seems like we got under racing and then went to full safety car. So I said the race was kind of neutralized, but now Nuclear Monkey has neutralized the race entirely on lap 2 of 36. All gaps will be cancelled out. Anyone who has damage gets a free pit stop, and they can join back at the back of the queue. But it's a safety car that comes a little too early on in a race for people to suddenly change tyre strategies. On Monday night here in Tier 1, we did not see a lot of penalties. I think just 2 or 3 drivers. So everyone pretty much staying within the white lines. We didn't see a lot of penalties in the sprint race tonight either. So everybody doing a good job to stay within the lines. This is not really a track I recommend going over the lines. You'll get a couple of tyres full of grass. Riding with John, that is the second Williams. He's down in P17. Remember, we're under full safety car conditions, and we have some cars trailing at the back. I believe that's a Williams and a Haas. So I'm almost certain we'll have at least one more lap behind the Aston Martin safety car, that is. See, quite a few people are watching, so thank you to everyone who has tuned into the stream, everyone who's listening to it live or watching it live. Thanks for being here, thanks for listening to me so I don't have to speak to myself. The SAFRL channel continues to grow, almost now at 100 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, this is the time. We're under safety car. We've got a drop in the action, drop in the drama, so here's your time. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and leave a like on the video so I know you're watching and you don't mind my commentary that much. Bampoon, are you still there? You were in the comment section for a bit there, but now you've gone quiet. Hopefully you haven't fallen asleep under the safety car conditions. Obviously, the Zandvoort circuit wasn't on the calendar for a long time, and the popularity of Max Verstappen is what got it back on the calendar. But it's a very different track from its previous layout. Here we go, safety car is in this lap. SAFRL will back up your field as much as he can, and he'll wait for a moment where he can go, and he's gonna want to get the jump on Mr. M. Mr. M will be watching him like a hawk. There we go, it's SAFRL gets going, green flag, we're underway, lap 4 of 36, and the McLaren chooses to stay where he is. The Alpine now, Cyber challenges for P3. There we go, Pantry loses P3 and in the process loses P4 as well. One blue car goes by, another blue car goes by, and now a McLaren. And now a McLaren challenging Pantry Star, but he doesn't get by. Pantry Star shuts the door, he says that's enough for that. He's already down into P6, P5, doesn't want to lose another one. But that McLaren holding on around the outside, that's really brave. He gets around Loki up into P5, nicely done. Great racing here, and this is for P5, P4 up at the front. It's SAFRL, 0.8 of a second, he leads the way. Big T in P6, top Haas. We saw the other Haas have a miserable start to the race. Had to make a visit to the pits, but luckily the full safety car would have brought him back right to the back of that queue, and since then he's been able to make up a few positions, and he is busy having a recovery drive. Now up into P14, Top Gun. It's SAFRL, still leads. He has effectively broken DRS. He's 1.1 seconds ahead. Bringing up your tyre screen. Have a look at the tyres, look at that. Most of your drivers in the top 10 virtual safety car. Yet again, we're under virtual safety car. And wow, what a race it's been so far. You get going, you stop. You get going, you stop. It's SAFRL. He leads the way. He's on a hard set of tyres. Only P1 and P10 are on a hard set of tyres. They're in the top 10. pretty much everybody else on a set of mediums with the exception of Cyber. He's gone with a set of softs. And if the sprint race was anything to go by, I'm guessing 12 to 15 laps, possibly. I don't know, let me know in the comment section. You guys spend a lot more time out on track than I do. Tell me, what are the estimated tyre lives of these different compounds? Now Loki falling down the order. I think that, yes, there we go. We just caught sight of it. Loki, he is in the Armco, but I was going to say luckily no safety car activated, but we're under virtual safety car for the third time. So on lap 7 of 36 we have had 3 virtual safety cars and a full safety car. I believe in Formula 1 there's obviously the amounted laps of whatever Grand Prix, but if for whatever reason it takes longer than the laps, let's say it's a 70 lap race and you're 2 hours into the race and you're only on lap 60, well then the race ends because the 2 hour time limit. So with all these safety cars, and it's a 50% race, do we have a 1 hour limit? I don't know, is that built into the game? Probably not. There we go, green flag, it's Ferrari leads the way yet again, 1.2 seconds is the gap to Cyber. Cyber's on a set of softs, remember, so it's very important for him to make up all the time he can in this first stint, because he's going to be the first man in the top 12 to pit. No change at the front, it's Ferrari from Cyber, from Mr. Rem, Alfa Romeo, Alpine, McLaren. Then we have a Williams in P4, Moller, Pantry in P5, Kratos. It's a cool name that, I like that name, Kratos. Kratos, P6. And he dives into the pits, so Maggot gets promoted into P6, Dented Skull P7. Does he have damage on that car? Seems like it's a drive-through. Drive-through penalty there for Kratos. He has just served that penalty. So annoying driving down that pit lane at a speed limit and you can hear engines roaring past you and you know you're going to have the job of having to catch all those cars and somehow making up all those positions. So far it's Ferrari doing everything he needs to. He's out of DRS. He's got a reasonable gap and he's on the hardest compound. So when everyone behind him begins to have their tires fall off, he will be in a very strong position. Just pointing that out, I actually didn't notice Big T. It's on a brand new set of hards and he's got a penalty next to his name. Just see what that is. That's a 5-second penalty, so that'll be speeding on his way into the pit lane. 5-second penalty for Big T. That will be 5 seconds at his next pit stop, and if he doesn't pit again, it will be added on at the end of the race. Kratos up the inside. Or is he up the inside? Akmagozi holding on. Doesn't want to give it up. Great driving, Akmagozi. Keeps his foot down. But now, oh, does he have to give the position back? We're under safety car. Was that pass before or after safety car? There we go. It seems like it was just before safety car, because that position has been given back. Now we're under safety car because Cyber, he was up in the top 3, looked quick, yet he has become our latest DNF. And here on Wednesday night, Tier 2, we are under our second safety car. We've had 3 virtuals, and we're on lap 11. In other breaking news, we have a very busy pit lane. I said that first safety car at the beginning of the race wasn't going to play too much of a part when it came to tyres. But at this point in the race, it really does play a part with tyres. A lot of guys coming in, getting rid of their softer compounds, even in some cases getting rid of their medium compounds, throwing on a set of hards, and I assume going to the end of the race. Yeah, absolutely. In the comment section, just mentioning the amount of safety cars. Insane amount of safety cars, 5 in total. If you include the 2 full safety cars and the 3 virtuals on lap 11. That's why I say we may have to find some sort of a time limit if we can't get the laps done. I have no idea how that would work. And I don't trust the makers of this game to make anything more complicated. An interesting thing to note is that while many cars utilize the safety car to make a pit stop, to have a change of tires, possibly an entire change of strategy, but Maggot did not choose to make a pit stop, so he's on 10 lap old hards and he leads this race. You don't see that every day, a Red Bull in the lead of the race. Lap 12 of 36, and we're not at halfway distance. In fact, we're at 1/3 distance. Yes, we're at 1/3 distance, 12 of 36. So come on guys, let's keep it going. Let's go for the record. You've got 5 safety cars in the first third of the race. If we keep this up, we can maybe get up to 15. We're obviously in Zandvoort, in the Netherlands. They got quite an interesting upset over us yesterday in the Cricket World Cup. The Proteas, for the first time, losing to the Netherlands in an ODI, and they knocked us out of the T20 World Cup. So maybe we just we have a bit of PTSD every time we see those orange uniforms. Definitely a passionate sporting nation. There we go. Safety car will come in now, and it's Maggots. What will he do? He's going to lead the way. Remember, he's got old hard, so he's going to be slipping around now, especially at the start. Those tires are going to be cold. They're going to take longer to heat up. It's Farees in third. He's on mediums. Those tires will come into their own a lot faster. But for the time being, Red Bull leads from McLaren. McLaren also on a set of hards, but a much fresher set of hards. So Maggot will be leading, but for how much longer? Because he will be feeling the effects of those older tires. And if you just have a look at the side, not that side, the other side, there we go. If you look at the left hand side of that Red Bull, it's got a bit of scuff marks all over the side pod, so he's already spent a bit of time off track. But now, after an up and down race, he does lead on merit. And when will he choose to come in and get rid of those odds? But now Mr. M, surely, no DRS yet at this point, but he doesn't need it. All he needs is a little bit of slipstream, and Mr. M goes into the lead, up the inside, nicely done. Not too much Maggot could have really done about it. Now, his next problem is an Alfa Romeo. Maggot gets back in front. It's Ferrari, not happy about that. He wants the position back, and he wants it back. The very next time they get to the straight, he's going to take this back. He's all over the gearbox of the Red Bull. And surely, if those tires are aged, and he's driving this hard, he's just going to age them faster. We are on lap 14 of 36. We have 15 drivers remaining in this race from the 19 that started. 4 DNFs, Tyler Boy for AlphaTauri, Cyber for Alpine, Loki for McLaren, and Nuclear Monkey was your first retirement of the evening. That was for Ferrari. It's Ferrari, back where he feels he belongs, back into P1. He's got a fresh set of mediums. Everyone behind him is on a set of hards. And unless a safety car comes out to ruin his party, there's no reason why he shouldn't run down the road from now. Maggot, still in P2. Moller on a fresher set of tyres. He'll be wanting to get past. Needs to do everything he can to make sure he can hold on to his Ferrari. Doesn't let him get too far up the road, but for the time being, he's stuck behind the Red Bull. He's going to want to get past Maggot in this very next section of the circuit. Just really want to get on his gearbox going into the straight. And there's nothing the car in front can do. And if you do have DRS, this time he does have DRS. Watch this. It should be as easy as it gets, and it is. Halfway down the straight, well before turn 1, and Moller up into P2. And the Red Bull of Maggot, he actually lost a bit of momentum, and he's allowed Pantry Star through as well. So he went down from P2 to P4. And your new provisional podium sitters, it's Ferrari, Moller, Pantry Star, 2 Alfa Romeos and a Williams. Further down, Big T. Remember, he's having a bit of a recovery drive. He's in P5. He's got that penalty to worry about. A 5-second penalty. Remember, that'll be added at his next pit stop or at the end of the race. Dented Skull P6, Top Gun P7, Mr. Rem in the only remaining McLaren, John down in P9. Maggot and Big T, they're switching positions. There we go. We saw them side by side briefly. Now the Haas coming back. Wouldn't this be an interesting battle to see at Kota this weekend? A Haas fighting a Red Bull. Haas going left, Haas going right, to the inside, to the outside, looking for a space, waiting for a mistake. His tyres aren't all that fresh either, and you can just see the Haas there just getting out of shape. Lets the Alfa Romeo come right at him as he loses momentum. The top 5, it's Ferrari, Pantry Star, Moller, Maggot, Big T. We have a Alfa Romeo 1-2. Moller loses another position, this time to a Haas, and he could lose 2. But the AlphaTauri doesn't get too greedy, knows he can get him. As soon as he gets to the straight. As things stand, it's free. Closest battle we have is this one here. This is for P2. Half a second is the gap. Pantry Star and Moller. Even closer battle down a road. Dented Skull. He's chasing Maggot. AlphaTauri versus Red Bull. And what do you think Helmut Marko would say about a situation like this? I think I know what he'd say. He'd say, back the bleep off, or you're fired. The AlphaTauri's definitely not backing off. Obviously, if everything does go according to plan in 2024, the AlphaTauri is going to have a much more competitive car. In fact, they will be running a slightly modified RB19. In layman's terms, they'll be driving a slightly improved this year's Red Bull. Alfa Romeo 1-2, but they are separated by 3.6 seconds. Moller hasn't given up on P2 though, he's just half a second down the road. Big T in P4, Dented Skull P5. And we've got another DNF, hopefully it doesn't trigger anything. I don't see yellow anywhere. I don't think it's triggered anything. Maybe we've hit our limit of safety cars. But we have a DNF, a retirement by one of the Red Bulls. That's Rockwell. Becomes our 5th retirement of the evening. Luckily no safety car this time round. Moller, P3, just behind Pantry Star, that car ahead of him on the same set of tyres with the same age. So tyres will not be the determining factor here in the battle for P2. This will just be a battle of consistency and concentration. The one that makes the mistake first. Do you want to be in the lead of a battle like this, or do you want to drive behind the car? Can study him, follow him around for a few laps. Notice where he's struggling, notice where he battles. And then you have your go. Or, if you're in Zandvoort, you open up your overpowered DRS down the main straight, and you take it that way. Moller has activated DRS, but that gap was a little bit too big for him to really make the most of it. Brings it down to about half a second again. That is what's so annoying about leading a car in DRS. Once a car is out of DRS, if you're slightly faster than him, you can just build that gap up over time. But if the car's within DRS, even if he's not close enough to pass you, every time he gets in DRS, he's going to close that gap substantially. Moller still behind Pantry Star. We still have a battle now. Big T and Dented Skull. We have contact. Do we have contact? I think we had contact there. The AlphaTauri just twitching a little. And Big T up into P4. Dented skull. I wonder if that was contact or if that was just him getting out of shape on his own. He will definitely know what happened there, if it was contact or not. Now he's going to go back up the inside of the horse. The horse holds on around the outside, which means he'll have the inside to the next corner. And again, I don't know if that is a internet connection that's making me see funny things, but that seemed like a little bit of, I think we'll just call it argy-bargy, but not really allowing any room there for the AlphaTauri. Mr. Rem, P5. I believe it was Fernando Alonso who said, "Always you must leave the space." It's Ferrari, P1, Pantry Star, his teammate P2's gap is 5.6 seconds, and we've got our latest retirement. We have a caution. We have a caution in Sector 2, hopefully no safety car. Maggot becomes the second Red Bull to retire from this race. No points for Red Bull on the night. Doesn't seem to have triggered any safety cars. Hopefully none of the cars running at the back run into the retired car, and then we should be fine. Lap 23 of 36. We're getting into the final third of this race. In fact, the first third of the race was action-packed. We had all sorts of action. 5 safety cars, in fact. Second third of the race, not that much has happened. We've had 2 retirements, none of which triggered safety cars. And the Alfa Romeos, they seem to be securing a 1-2. Haas also in a strong position tonight. They're in P3, P5. Remember Top Gun, his race was affected in a very negative way at the end of lap 1. And ever since, he's been trying to come back through the field, and what a job he's done. He's on 21 lap old hearts, and he's up into P5. Ferrari still leads the way from Pantry Star, no change at the front. Big T still in third place. Dented Skull. I think he's had enough of Haas drivers. He's got a Haas in front of him and he's got a Haas behind him. Then the first of the 2 Williams, P6, is John. He's on 14 lap old mediums. His teammate has recently come into the pits and put on a set of softs that'll take him to the end of the race. Gotzi, also new set of softs. Ruben coming out of the pits on a new set of softs. See who can use or utilize that soft grip, that advantage in the last few laps of the race, and how far up the order that extra grip can help them. So far at the front, happy days for Alfa Romeo. And as far as Ferrari power goes, we have a 1, 2, 3. Yet one of those cars is not a Ferrari. I think if that happened in Formula 1, Ferrari getting beaten by not only Haas but Alfa Romeo as well, I think a few people might be sent on their bike. "36 laps this 50% race." So it's one of the shorter tracks on the calendar. Got a really technical circuit, lots of twists and turns, lots of elevation changes, especially in Sector 1. And so easy to just lose a little bit of concentration late in the race. Put a wheel on the grass. But you've got to keep that concentration, keep that consistency from lap 1 to lap 36. If there's safety cars, if there's traffic, you can't get distracted. You've got to only focus what's in front of you. And that's getting to the start-finish line first. It's obviously one thing to be quick. It's another thing to be quick constantly. Pantry doing a good job. This is the second Alfa Romeo. He won't be able to see his teammate. Maybe briefly on the straight here. There we go. His teammate's going into turn 1 and he's coming out of the final corner. That gap is 8.5 seconds. Big T, further 4 seconds adrift. Dented Skull, P4. And John, P5. Everyone here in the top 7 is on aging tyres. We'll see how that works out at the end of the race. Then Muller and Top Guns, P8, P9. Fresh set of softs. And the gap to the rest of the field is not too big, so they can definitely come back into this race. And I wonder how many of these top 7 are going to take it right to the end of the race, or if some of these guys still have pit stops in mind. Let's just bring up your penalty screen real quick. See what effect that could have on your race. Big T in 3rd position. He's got a 5-second penalty. Mola in P8 also a 5-second penalty. And Dented Skull 3-second penalty for what I assume is track limits. Fastest lap of the race so far is for Top Gun. That lap time of 1:11.2. And the only man in the race to be in the 1:11s. If I could have some further information, I'd love to have known when that lap was. But very limited data available here in spectator mode. Nine and a half seconds, the gap at the front between the teammates continues to grow. Don't think Pantry Star will care too much about that. Alfa Romeo 1-2 maximum points for the team. And I think with this result, if I'm not mistaken, SAFRL will be in the lead of the championship. Been very quick tonight from qualifying to the sprint race to the feature race. Top Gun now goes fastest lap yet again, another 1:11.2. And that's what I mean about consistency. Not only are you setting the fastest lap of the race, very next lap, you're matching it to a few tenths of a second. We just got up on our screens now a fastest lap, so I don't know if that was a delayed message or if that was him doing another one. Regardless, it's Free leads from Pantry Star, Big T P3. That's your podium sitters. Dented Skull still has a say in this podium. He's in P4 and just desperately outside of DRS. 500s outside of DRS. And he's going to need all the DRS he can get if he hopes to get himself up onto that podium. So he needs to dig deep and find a little more. With 6 laps to go, he needs to find that little extra, get himself up into DRS and get past the Haas driver. That team next year, not confusingly, will be known as MoneyGram Alfa Romeo Haas. Yes, that will be Haas's name next year. MoneyGram Alfa Romeo Haas. And Alfa Romeo will become Sauber. It's Free, Pantry Star, Big T. They'll be seeing the podium, tasting the champagne. Not long to go. And Dented Skull, who was just battling to stay with DRS, he's now effectively fallen almost to 2 seconds adrift. For the latter stages of the race, not really going his way. Remember, he is on old hards, and I presume he's going to take it to the end of the race, so those tyres will only become more of a handful as time goes on. Mr. M in P6, Top Gun. Remember, also having a recovery drive. He's in P7, 5 seconds to the driver in front of him. He's got 5 laps and he's got a soft set of tyres versus a hard set of tyres in front of him. It would be miraculous if he could do a 5 second gap in 5 laps, but he might just have it in him. Just have a look at that penalty situation again, because it could be crucial. Big T has a 5 second penalty. He will not pit again, so those 5 seconds will be added on at the end of the race. Dented Skull has a 3 second penalty. So if Dented Skull can keep that gap below 2 seconds, he will steal a podium here tonight. So it's going to be crucial for him to keep this gap under 2 seconds. Doesn't need to worry about passing the Haas. Just get as close to him as you can, and you're going to get a podium. You're going to steal his champagne. John, good race so far. He was a little further down the field, so he's made a great comeback today. Top Williams in the race now in P5. His teammate down in P10, Moller. He was having a good race earlier, so the Williams have switched fortunes from the start to the end of the race. Not anyone doing a ridiculous amount of pit stops, but that might explain why Moller is in P10. He has visited the pits on 3 different occasions. Since the start of the race, most positions made up by a driver is the man in P3. This man here, Big T, he's taken up 6 positions since the start of the race. In terms of biggest positions lost, there's also a 6 involved. 6 places down. Moller started in P4, running in P10. Magosi at the back of the field, but that car is ghosting. Bart Bliksem is also ghosting, and I'm pretty sure he ghosted through the sprint race. So P12, P13 effectively not in this race. We have 11 runners. We have 11 runners out on track. There we go. Yeah, that is confirmation of the penalty. So Big T has 5. Dented Skull has 3. It's a difference of 2. So if he stays within the 2 seconds, that's a podium. And he's doing the right job so far. He's bringing that gap closer and closer. He's almost within DRS actually. So if he can just get a good, clean last 2 laps, podium is definitely on the cards for the AlphaTauri. Obviously his teammate, Tylee Boy, retired much earlier on in the race, as did the 2 Red Bulls. So he's the only Red Bull representative in P4, but technically P3. We start lap 36 of 36. This is the final lap. The way this race started, I thought we'd never get here, but we didn't get another safety car after that. It's free from Pantry, Big T, but Dented Skull, there we go, 0.8 of a second. We said he needed to keep it below 2, and he's definitely done that. 5/10 of a second. So, sure, he'd love to make the pass on circuit, but it's not going to be necessary. I wonder if the Haas will defend. Wants to make the pass on circuit. It just means so much more when you make it on circuit. But here is your leader, it's Ferrari. It's going to go around this final corner. And what a... Dented Skull. He's made the pass on track. So he's not going to rely on the penalty. I said it would feel so much better to do it on track, and he's done it on track, and he's done it pretty comfortably. Big T does not have to worry, I think, about John. What is that gap? 9.1 seconds. He's got a 5-second penalty, so 4 seconds is still there. So he's still got a comfortable cushion. Big T should hold on very comfortably, I think, there. 2P4 shouldn't lose any further positions, but as for the top 3, it's Ferrari, Pantry, and Dented Skull. You'll see that Haas in his mirrors all over his gearbox. And he'll say, don't challenge me, we have penalties. He'll just be waiting for a nudge on the gearbox. And there will be tears all night. But it's Ferrari, finishes off the night from pole to win, to another win. As many points as you can take on one night, he got them all. There's confirmation of another penalty actually for Big T. He got a 3-second penalty right at the end there. So, holds on to 4th, but only just. Then John P5, Mr. M P6. Top Gun, your second Haas, comes over the line. Good recovery drive to finish in P7. Wait now for Kratos, P8. Gotzi, a little further back. Number 96. Looking for the start-finish line, P9, he'll pick up some points for this. Some just reward for finishing. Zandvoort, not the easiest track, and then the Williams coming over the line. Moller for the... oh, wow. Well, I don't know how his mechanics are going to feel about that. Yeah, I don't think they're going to like that too much. Then Ruben goes over the line in P11, makes up your final tally. And we'll just wait for your final results before we read them out. Make sure penalties don't still have a say. John is your driver of the day. And now we wait. So there we go, there are your official results. It's Free taking... Let's not do this again. There we go, race results. It's Free takes the win. Pantry Star P2, they make it an Alfa Romeo 1-2. Fantastic night for them. Alpha Tauri in third, Dented Skull. Then Big T fourth. John in P5. Mr. Rem P6. Top Gun P7. Kratos P8. Gotzi P9. Moller in P10. Then missing out on points tonight, we've got Ruben in P11. Bart Blixham and Atmagozi. Those cars did finish the race, but they ghosted to the end, so they will not be classified. Then retirements for tonight: Maggot, Rockwar, Tylee Boy, Cyber, Loki, and Nuclear Monkey. To everyone who joined us tonight, to everyone who watched the stream or listened to the stream in the background, whatever it was that you were doing, please remember, subscribe to the channel, leave a like. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week Wednesday or next week Monday. Remember, tier 1 on a Monday, tier 2 on a Wednesday. Join us then. Thanks a lot. See you next time.